Hey guys, Dr. Michael Young here. Hope everything's going well in your world. Hope you're enjoying this snow. We got about 7 or 8 inches here in beautiful downtown Fraser's Bottom, West Virginia, location of my recording studio. Today we are talking about the important topic of communications. So let's get right into it then. First thing we're going to do is talk about why communications is important. As of now, in 2022, March, AI has not completely taken over. Organizations are made up of individuals. Individuals still need to communicate. And every managerial function and activity involves some form of direct or indirect communication. Every person's communication skills affect both their personal and organizational effectiveness. Communication is important for you as an individual, for your career, your personal skills, including communication is very important. It's also important for your organization. It's important that the other members of your organization communicate well. It's important that your organization communicate well with outside stakeholders as well as within internally. Not only that, but everything was changed as a result of COVID. I don't think we can underestimate. I don't think it's easy to hype, to give into too much hyperbole about how much the COVID pandemic has changed organizations. And one of the main things that's changed has been the way that people communicate. Right? So we're going to talk about that. It's all good stuff. So sit back, take notes, and enjoy the lesson. If you go to Figure 9.2 in your textbook, you will see this little diagram here, this graph in which it's showing the communication process, and we have 4 different steps, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we've got the sender of the message, this communication process in action. This sender encodes a message, selects a medium. These days, very likely to be this little baby right here, our smartphone. It could still be the old-fashioned way. People could actually be meeting face-to-face. It could actually be a phone call. I've heard that people still make phone calls. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't made one for years and years, but I've heard that they still are made. I'm joking, by the way, in case you can't tell. Selects a medium. The message is transmitted through some sort of a medium. It could be a text message. All right. The receiver receives the message, decodes the message, reads it, whatever, decides that feedback is necessary. Message happens to be, let's meet at Starbucks to study. Receiver decodes that message and thinks, which Starbucks? We have 2 classes together. We have our BA 320, Organizational Behavior, which is our favorite class, but then we also have that other class. So the receiver sends feedback through another medium, could be the same one. This is very likely that in today's world, the text message is sent and then is sent back. So this is a whole process of the communication, or a diagram of the whole process, and we're going to talk about this in more detail. First off, the sender, the message, and the receiver. Communication begins when the sender has an idea or a thought, puts this thought or idea, encodes it into some sort of a language. And then the sender sends the medium, selects a medium for the message. Mediums include things like face-to-face, telephone, email, could be charts, it could be graphs, social media. All of these are different mediums of exchange. The receiver decodes the message and then creates a meeting after receiving the message. They have to interpret it. What does that mean? Can I figure out what this person is talking about? This can be influenced by cultural norms and values. As you know, I happen to be very interested in different cultures, and I know that communication takes place differently in different cultures. You have the feedback, the receiver's reaction to the sender's message. This could be direct in the case of the text. It could also be, if it's face-to-face, it could be the body language. It could be the what the person is thinking about it. See, as you're sitting there watching this, I'm fidgeting. I don't know. That makes a difference in how you receive this message. Noise is not just the sounds, but in the parlance of communication, it's anything that interferes with the transmission and understanding of a message. So there's something that's called media richness, and other things equal. I mean, there's a convenience factor, but other things equal, it's best to choose the media that is what we would say the most rich. The richness is the capacity of a given communication medium to convey information and promote understanding. Factors that influence media richness is the speed of the feedback. Instantaneous feedback is best. The channel. Right now I'm communicating to you via audio-visual, video recording. So there are many aspects of communication other than what we've talked about so far. The whole idea of communication should be pretty clear to you by now, hopefully. The point is, you're trying to improve the effectiveness of the message that you're trying to send. And so these are all the aspects that are involved. The decoder, the language, it depends on the sender, it depends on the receiver, it depends on the feedback. All of these things are important for making the communication more effective. Some key competencies of communication, well, there has to be, or there is, a nonverbal part. For example, facial expressions, eye contact in the case of face-to-face. This is the reason that I'm old school. I believe that face-to-face courses are best. Honestly, I don't like this. I don't like online courses so much. I mean, sure, it's easier for me, but I don't think that the students are getting as much out of it, because there's a whole aspect of it. For example, the nonverbal. There's the emotional part. There's the personal part of teaching a course that you can't really do with online courses. So you've got the nonverbal part. You've got the active listening. You've got non-defensive listening. If the other party, the receiver, is defensive or has biases, implicit biases, this makes it more difficult or less effective. To improve communications, you need to clarify expectations and norms. Make sure people get credit for their ideas. Preferably use a variety of communication tools and be aware of implicit bias. We all have implicit bias. We all have a viewpoint. We all come at things from a particular perspective. And this perspective influences what we hear from the sender when we're listening. Next thing we're going to talk about is social media at work. Technology. Is it good? Is it bad? Of course, it's both. Should employees be able to use their social media at work? I mean, this is a tricky question, and you may have had jobs in which you were not allowed to use social media. The idea behind social media is that it could increase employee productivity. It could increase employer productivity. We could bring this into a situation that's closer to home. Should students be allowed to use their mobile phones in class? Should students be able to use their computers in class? Because you know and I know that many times when students are given permission to use their phones in class, that they're not doing things that are necessarily related to class, and it decreases their productivity. So as we're going through this example, think about maybe for students. The driving force behind technology, including social media, is desired to boost productivity. This increases job satisfaction and possibly better work-life balance. Although there are questions as to whether social media at all is improving work-life balance, but also performance and retention, more creativity and collaboration. It could make the employer more productive, especially if the employees are connecting with customers or other external stakeholders. It allows them to get other sources of knowledge, and they can get other ideas whenever they're trying to solve problems, crowdsourcing. The dark side of social media work, though, is their costs. Think about using your phone in class. There's a lot of lost productivity due to cyber loafing, using the internet at work or in class for personal use. It's a primary concern for employers. It's a primary concern for teachers and professors in their adoption of social media. How do people waste their time on social media? There are endless ways. The internet is completely incomplete. It's infinite. There are an infinite number of ways that you can waste time on the internet and social media. Many employers now are blocking access to social media on work computers, and also limiting access to employees' ability to use their mobile phones. I don't know about you, but I've gone into shops before and I see the employees just sitting around messing around on their phones, and it's a turn-off in a retail establishment or another type of establishment. When employees are messing around on social media for customers, for external stakeholders, it's a turn-off. Makes people mad. We are all getting a bit kind of addicted to this technology now, and if somebody comes along and tries to cut us out cut us out of our internet fix, we get mad. It may alienate employees, it may alienate students if you block their access to social media during work or class. It may bring up issues of fairness if some people are allowed to use it and other people are not. And it appears as though for the persons that's doing the blocking, it can make it seem as though there's a lack of trust. Okay, guys, that's all we're going to do for today. I hope this was useful. Just a reminder, midterm is coming up very soon. I hope everything's going well in your world. Stay awesome. This is Michael. See you next time.